By now, you've probably noticed that the Redeeming Truth podcast is now expanding to become Redeeming Truth Media. Underneath that banner, we're going to have a ton of more content, a ton of ways for us to be a blessing to the church at Redeemer Bible Church in Arizona and anybody else at large. So you want to know what we're doing and why we're doing it? Stay tuned for this episode of Redeeming Truth. Redeeming Truth family, we have an exciting announcement for you. We've got the whole team here to talk about it. And so, Jason, this is really something that you've been working on for months now.
Yes.
It's the result of what happens when you're no longer doing two jobs, but you get one job here at the church, and this is what happens.
Is that all I have? Is just one job here at the church? It feels like I work like 6 now.
Well, you should work 6 because this is what happens when you do. And so, Jason, tell us about this exciting announcement.
Yeah, okay. So in March, when I had the awesome privilege of being able to not do my tent making job anymore and just be here at the church full time, I started thinking about, as I was coming into communications, like what does all that look like? A year ago, started writing music for the church, and we called it Redeeming Truth Music because it just seemed to make sense since we already had equity in the name of Redeeming Truth Podcast. And then really kind of looking at how those two can... What was the purpose of the podcast? The purpose of the podcast was for us to be able to speak to Redeemer Bible Church. And then, because of the digital age that we live in, we have the ability to then speak to the world. And the same thing for our music. We're writing music for our church, but then also it can be used at large. And then thinking about how all those things connect together and how the podcast can feed the music and the music can feed the podcast. Just kind of figured if we had something Redeeming Truth Media, then we can just continue to add other avenues of media to whatever we think we want to do. So the next kind of obvious thing was publishing. When we think about the pastors and the people that we have here at this church and the ability for us to write and to be able to make blog posts and the interest in that and articles and books and curriculum and beyond. And so really the idea for one central hub for all of these things to exist so that we can speak to our church and by and large speak to the world and proclaim the gospel of Christ to whoever we can. It was just something that I had a passion for, and now it's becoming a reality.
And so the big announcement then is what?
So the big announcement is last Friday, September 22nd, we launched Redeeming Truth Media. So we have the website that exists at redeemingtruthmedia.org, and it has our podcast, our existing podcast there with all, and our new music. We released our first song, which is on all streaming platforms and is also available on that website with a music video and all of the charts for piano and for the guitar, and all of these resources are for free. And then we also have the first of 3 articles written by 3 different pastors at our church that includes the articles and an MP3 download of them reading that article as well. And so that just all hit last week, and so we're really excited to see what the Lord does with it.
So Kevin, you're kind of overseeing the publishing arm of this. What do we need to know?
Yeah, well, as Jason said, it's exciting to be on a staff like this and to be a part of a church like Redeemer that has men who are called by God to equip the saints for the work of the ministry. And so, essentially we have guys on staff from a variety of backgrounds with, variety of experiences who are able to really pour into this ministry, and it gives us another opportunity to shepherd the people entrusted to our care through blog posts, a variety of articles, and in the future books and things of that nature. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
And so Dale, I know that you and Jason worked on this together, talked about this. What gets you excited about this?
I think the prospect of just doing more content for the people of our church. And as Jason said, having people looking over our shoulders. We say that quite a lot around here. We have people looking over our shoulders of what we're doing. But specifically for the people of Redeemer Bible Church, to be able to create more content for them that's going to help them know, love, and serve Jesus on a higher level, it gets me very, very excited.
And the thing that I like, it's unique in the sense that it's by a local church for the local church.
That's right.
That we really don't see ourselves as trying to compete with any other ministry that's out there. This is, how do we care for the people that have been entrusted to our care? So we've talked about the podcast, we've talked about publishing, we've talked about music, but Kyle, there's more than just that potentially.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, as we've been, and I want to add, this is something I think all of us have been excited about for a long time. We've talked about this, for many years, having an outward-facing resource ministry, and with the way that our church has grown and our team has grown, and ministry opportunities come, and we're all very busy, and God puts us in lanes and things like that. It's awesome to see God bring Jason onto the team to have the skill and the ability and the drive to get this all going. So it's, I've been here on staff for 4 years, and it's something I think, in that last time, in that season, I think all of us have been looking forward to something like this come about. So to see it actually happen as a reality is pretty exciting to see. And with all those things coming together, the possibilities, are pretty endless. But we're excited in the future to add a conference wing to Redeeming Truth, where we can bring together people who are going to continue to expound on the truth together, bring in friends and family, other local churches, whether it be regional, national, whatever the Lord does with it, to give us the opportunity to gather together as the Big C Church and worship the Lord together and redeem the truth of His Word in front of the culture.
Yeah, on our ends, again, it is nothing to do. There's no spirit of competition here with anything or anyone. The idea is that we've been incredibly blessed with the team that God has built here. This is a time of unparalleled camaraderie and togetherness on this team, and so it's like, we've been blessed with that incredibly. So let's be a blessing to our local church, and then anybody else beyond that. So as a ministry of a local church for the local church, this is not a separate 501c3, which means that this is something that needs funding in order to make it happen through a local church. And so if you are interested in giving to that, please make sure to do so. Please go to the description below and you'll see a give link down there, or you can go to redeemeraz.org/give, and there you can help support the ministry of Redeeming Truth Media. And so I'm incredibly excited, since this is your brainchild, since this is something that you've been thinking about, praying about. Anything you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah, it's just been an incredible opportunity to watch as I've prayed about how is this going to work, and thinking about, how is the music going to get done? How is the publishing going to get done? The Lord has just constantly been filling in all of those gaps as we've been going. So even as the music came together, because the podcast already existed, but even us being able to bring the podcast fully in-house and our ability to speak into things quickly, that kind of came into being because of what the Lord did. And then thinking about, okay, well, we've got this idea for publishing, but how's that going to work? And then Kevin comes on board and he's just like, man, I love to write. It's my passion and my drive to do something like this. And so I've seen, since the idea has hit really, and it was all kind of just like, this is a cool idea, but how does this happen? As I've prayed about it, even in the last couple of months, everything has just came together easily and in a way that's just kind of blown my mind. And so I'm really excited about our church being able to continue to speak well into all areas of media to Redeemer Bible Church, but again, also to be able to offer these resources free to the world. As we know, like especially when we think about content that's out there right now in the church world, there's not a lot of good content out there and a lot of good, solid, sound teaching from these type of areas. When you think about the writing aspect, when you think about podcasting, and especially music, churches like our own are starving for good biblically sound music. So, as you said, when much is given, much is required, right? So when I came onto the church a couple of years ago, and the talent that was there, and not just the talent, but these people that love God and they want to serve God. And so all of these things that you would think would be difficult to put together has come together actually quite smoothly. And to see it take about a year to get fully launched is an amazing thing to me now that it's actually done.
Well, Jason, incredibly excited to see the Lord's work through you in all of this, and really all of you. This is something that the Lord is going to use all of us to be a blessing to the church and to bring honor to His name. So I hope you're excited about that. I know we are. You'll hear more and more about this. If you aren't following us on social media, whether that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you should be, and following our YouTube page as well, because this is where all of this content is coming out, especially if you're a part of Redeemer Bible Church in Gilbert. We're creating all of this stuff to help you, to shepherd you, to care for you. And so hope it is, and I hope you are excited as we are about Redeeming Truth Media.
Hey, don't leave yet. If you're part of the 75% of people that watch our content but haven't subscribed, this is your time. Go down and find that little subscribe button and click it. That way you will know every time we come out with more content here from Redeemer Bible Church. Also, if you would like to give to this ministry, this is the only way that this ministry can happen. Make sure to click the link down below to the give button, and you can give to the ministry here at Redeemer. And then finally, if you want to know more about what's going on, check out this podcast right here.